Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sharp Edge News TV. Good to see you. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so that you're notified when we go live. The APC sinking ship strategy. Interesting. The Nigerian political landscape shifted significantly this weekend as the All Progressives APC, All Progressives Congress, ramped up its efforts to consolidate power ahead of the 2027 elections. A mass exodus from the PDP and a 73-member committee for the 2026 convention. Is the APC becoming the holy game in town? On Saturday, President Tinubu formally received Governor Agbu Kefas of Taraba State into the APC, with Vice President Shettima describing the move as aligning destiny with reality. And close quote. This follows a wave of high-profile defections, including the governors of Kano and Plateau. Meanwhile, in Abuja today, the APC National Working Committee appointed Governor Hope Uzodimma to chair a massive 73-member Central Coordination Committee for the March 2026 National Convention. However, we have something interesting going on here from former Senator Bala Na'Allah, who warned today that these defections are no guarantee of victory unless the party can convince Nigerians that the current economic hardship is worth the future reward. So here's the question again. Is the APC building a one-party state, or is the sinking PDP simply running out of lifeboats? Now, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have a brand new show today for you again today. Another episode. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so that you're notified when we go live. We'll be right back. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Hi, Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome, sir. Good to see you again, sir.
Good to be back. Thanks for making sure that we keep this show going, and gratitude to our audience all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Absolutely. Welcome back, sir. Well, so is APC building a one-state party, or one-party state rather, or is the sinking PDP simply running out of lifeboats? What is going on? Let's have your analysis on this.
Well, thank you very much. Well, if all institutions in Nigeria are perfectly aligned, it will be nearly impossible for the All Progressives Congress, APC, the ruling party in Nigeria, to successfully pull through a suspected agenda of trying to run a one-party show. It would be difficult for that kind of situation to hold ground in a country like Nigeria. Remember, Nigerians are pragmatic. Whatever you bring, they have appropriate response. And these are tested citizens concerning pushing back against the authoritarian and dictatorial tendencies. They did it successfully against the military, although these days you find all manner of people taking personal credit for driving the military away. But what we know is that it was a concerted effort. No single individual can come out to say, "Oh, we did it. We did this by ourselves." The citizens were tired, and all kinds of movements coalesced, and then they were able to do that. So the same thing would probably apply if there are tendencies that would want APC to want to run or to want to turn Nigeria to a one-party federation. It may not run successfully. However, concerning the views being expressed that people are jumping ship from PDP, yes, that is a normal thing to do because you find that, a self-inflicted and sometimes outwardly instigated sabotage on the part of that once illustrious political party. Now, it has imploded. And if you find all kinds of people trying to treat the party, that is People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, as a kind of empty shell, yeah, it is something that has to be tested out. And that is the antithesis to the, to the basics of how the party has run its own affairs in the last 25, 26 years. So what do we have here? Let us hope that as people are jumping ship, where are they going to? Because I did a quick check this past weekend, and I found out that contrary to what everybody was thinking, ADC is gaining membership every day. That is the African Democratic Congress, the one that has now been adopted. I do not know if as a special purpose vehicle, like they often say in Nigeria, because people will build things up. That is why you will find them presidents who rode on the back of PDP into power, even having the audacity to tear their membership cards, renouncing membership, claiming in a very funny way that they are now statesmen. But you don't find such comparisons elsewhere in the world. That, is it thinkable that former President Barack Obama or former President Bill Clinton will just wake up one day and say and claim that they are tearing their Democratic Party membership card in the United States? These things are clearly defined. It's almost like your political creed. But in Nigeria, you do not find deep philosophies. You don't find ideology anymore with political parties. So it's so easy for anybody to just want to jump ship. So, yes, PDP is losing membership. But do not forget the warning from that politician that you quoted and paraphrased earlier, that that may not be a guarantee that APC would probably have a clean sweep. And that fable of the elephant and the tortoise in Nigeria, the folk tale, or the folk the trickster tale, that everybody said, oh, the elephant is going to be crowned the king amongst humans. And then, having been given salacious and very sweet fried bean cakes, akara, then with pomp and circumstance, elephant was riding majestically. And then, a big dish that had been carefully overlaid with all kind of steaks and whatever was there. The elephant rode in, and then it was a bottomless abyss, a bottomless pit. And that sounded the knell for the elephant. So what am I saying here? The Yorubas will call it Auferi Joba Erekwewele. So if all kinds of press singers and sycophants come around town, now showering empty accolades on the sitting government, and everybody is taking it for granted that, oh, this is a done deal. Victory is already secured. I think APC, the ruling government, would have to watch its back before all these defections? Is it the one from Kefas or that of the governor of Plateau, NNPP, former government that now decamped into or dissolved into APC in Kano State? That is no guarantee that the people will not look at how they are feeling. The gains recorded under the current administration in Nigeria, and we want to feel like, okay, how has this government worked for us in the last 3, and then by the time the elections will be holding in the last 4 years, how has this government served the interests of the people of Nigeria? That is when the whole thing comes on the ballot, and then the people take a final decision. But of course, in Nigeria, you don't have the process being clean, being free and fair anymore. If you have witnessed the processes, like I have a couple of times in the last few years, votes are put on the block, they are traded off, just to the highest bidder, and for pretense, at times, people just give away their mandate. It's so shameful. In what's it called? In say 30 minutes, 1 hour, people trade off their votes for 500 naira, 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira. Maybe the biggest amount any political party want to pay for an individual to sell off their electoral mandate will be maybe around 25,000 naira, and then the suffering kicks in for the next 4 years. So if that becomes part of the considerations in the balloting process, then you may have a situation in which one party or the other would have to buy its way through. But if people really are ready for democracy, because you have seen the fallout of people trading off their votes, you have seen the effect in the way that has affected, it has become so depressing for democratic process in Nigeria. You see it in the quality of people coming to vote, in the numbers. Every day, they claim there are millions of people registered to vote in Nigeria. How many people actually vote at the end of the day? Maybe less than 10 to 20% of expected voters. So some food for thought there. If they really want democracy, if anybody actually wants democracy to succeed in Nigeria, then that effort has to be deliberate. That decision has to be taken, that money politics would have to recede completely to the background and let people vote by way of conscience and achievements of any administration, whether at local government, state, or federal elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I don't know how feasible that is. Nigeria is still very much in the top of the list of the most poverty-ridden countries in the world. So asking that money should go all the way back to the, how did you say it? I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, as a motivation.
As a motivation. How? So let me just ask you as a question, just to round up this segment. How feasible is that, considering the state of Nigeria economy and the average and the GDP of that country from an average human physical standpoint?
Well, how it could work effectively for the system is for the government of the day to have the courage of its convictions that whatever is starting as a genuine achievement in the last few months that it's been in power could be put to the test. If they say that, what they have experimented, what they have served on the dish for the citizens in the last few months that they have held the reins of administration has really worked for the people. The excitement should not be about trading off people's mandate. Otherwise, people will look at it that, okay, Poverty has been weaponized, and since people have no choice, they have no room for maneuvers. Now, this is what they want to do to really destroy their conscience. And voting is a matter of conscience and a choice. Let that be deliberate on the part of the people. In addition to that, you have had the warning from the opposition ADC. Like I have harped on it, ADC is fast taking root all over Nigeria. It will amaze you how at the grassroots levels, people are now saying, oh, we left PDP for Wike and the squad. We are moved to ADC. And which is why the government should listen when the ADC sounded that caveat this past week that if electoral reforms had not allowed, through legislative processes, then it will signal something that the government of the day in Nigeria is not really ready for proper democracy. And then, like the Yorubas again will say, when children are at play during moonlight stuff, they will say, if this whole thing is going hand on somebody's heel lock, it will be so sad to watch on purpose and see that democracy will flaunt, will flag, and probably fail under anybody's watch. That would be so sad. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's move on to some other trendy stories around the world. Right now, we're going to talk about Trump's great American recovery and the Ballroom lawsuits. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Trump's great American recovery and the Ballroom lawsuit. A $100 million plan for the streets, a $400 million ballroom at the White House, and a war on federal architecture. President Trump has had a busy week reshaping both the American economy and the American Capitol. Today, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced a $100 million street initiative to fight homelessness and addiction, a centerpiece of Trump's new executive order for a great American recovery. But while the president focuses on the street, he's also facing a legal firestorm over the White House itself. The National Trust for Historic Preservation has filed a lawsuit to stop the demolition of the East Wing, where Trump is building a $400 million ballroom. From painting the Eisenhower building white to adding its name to the Kennedy Center, the president is literally rewriting the look of Washington, D.C. We saw the missiles in Nigeria, the raids in Venezuela. Now Trump is putting his stamp on the very architecture of power. So my question here, sir, is this beautification or the building of a new dynasty? Let us have your analysis, sir.
Thank you very much. Straight out of, what we already know, historical antecedents and practical situations, existential situations under well-known self-perpetuating and self-flagellating and deluded characters. They are the ones who do things like that. They want to, stamp their faces on commemorative coins, to want to erect structures instead of allowing the judgment of history and their successors to do it. Because this is almost a reminder to what many of us witnessed in the different developing countries where we were born before we embraced naturalized citizenship in the United States of America. I mean, probably you remember those times when we were in Nigeria during the reigns of the military, Abacha and maybe somebody like Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida before him, who used to call himself a military presidency. And over the years, people even looked at the anachronistic title itself of being a military president. You cannot be a president unless you are elected. So being military and then calling yourself a president, people first tore that down as being oxymoronic. And you saw it when Babangida authored a book recently. People started, doing all kinds of critiques on that kind of anomaly that he was never a president. You look at that, when he was in office, nobody could look him in the face. But the judgment of history, the pronouncement of history today is saying that it was really improper for him to have called himself a military president because he was never elected as such. He remained a despot, pure and simple. Number two, in those years, you remember how ludicrous images, iconic, what do you call it, artworks were erected. Life-size stuff about sculptures about Ibrahim Babangida. You remember the one that stood right around the market, the main market, the main urban market, Erekeson in Akure, around the central mosque there. When Babangida did the unthinkable by way of annulling June 12, 1993 election, and people started protesting. That image that stood like that of Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon was what the people first went for. That was where they vented their anger. They did not just smash the head of Babangida through that symbolic image. They pulled it down completely and shoved it into bits. Today, that thing is no more there. That is one big lesson that people like Donald Trump should learn. Unfortunately, America is a place for multicultural, is a place where every kind of experience got distilled, and you can say, oh, what can we learn from other parts of the world? There is something that recommends itself for President Donald Trump here. Maybe he should get somebody to help him Google the works of famous Yoruba traditional poet, Ewi exponent, like the legendary Tubosun, Mr. Olatubosun Oladapo, or Elder Olatubosun Oladapo. That masterpiece that he produced, his album titled Ason Ninu Ason, Vanity Upon Vanity. You only live for now. Leave the judgment on what would be, what you will be remembered for. Building of monuments in your honor. Leave it to your successors. Leave it to the system. So if people now go to the law court and then they are slamming all manners of suits against him, it's deserving. It's something he has invited for himself. I do not know where this kind of obsession is coming from, other than something that is being copied from the books of dictatorship and authoritarianism. Nobody lives there forever. Nobody lives there forever. There are better things to be done with the resources available to the United States than building a whooping, staggering ballroom for $400 million. Even if it's just $2 million, that's a lot. You're talking of dollars. You are not talking of an annual kind of currency like the naira or probably the yen or Zimbabwean dollar. You're talking of, a worthy green note like the dollar. So $2 million would even raise an eyebrow. But how about conservation? These things that have been there, that have been emblematic of the various achievements and institutions of people. What is the idea of Trump, Kennedy Memorial, whatever? Kennedy Memorial. Donald Trump is still alive, is building something in his own memorial. I do not understand. It's not a grave man, yet he's doing all these things. Can somebody just assist him to understand that, sir, you are still alive? Those things are done for the dead by way of trying to immortalize them. There are other worthy things that used to recommend America for the admiration of all kinds of people and to look up to America as a liberating force. All those things are there. That is not the attraction. The unthinkable is being done today. Removal of chairman of what's it called? Federal Reserve Bank. Is it normal? Absolutely not. Bringing out people on the streets to aim guns at American citizens. Is that something that Americans were ever used to? No. And look at the result already. This last weekend in Texas, the hold of Republican Party on congressional seat was torpedoed in a Fort Worth area. The Democrats unexpectedly won, and to think that Donald Trump won that area by 17 points during the last election, just a little over a year ago, and now the Democrat that is taking that seat has won by 14 points. Isn't that something that should be of concern to Donald Trump? Already Donald Trump is distancing himself from, he said he was not aware of the race there, but only last week he was on his social media handle, posting like 3 different times about that, thinking he had the momentum. The moment that road had been torpedoed now, he has distanced himself. So these things come with serious consequences that you would want to ride on your citizens roughshod. And the thing that used to be the matter of bragging rights for him was immigration. But even on that now, it's under waters. It's under waters. And in the same state of Texas, another thing was on the ballot. I think a by-election for some state senate seat. The Democrats were able to flip it against Republicans as well. So the game has started already. The margin of majority between Democrats and Republicans is fast shrinking in the Congress, in the House of Representatives. It's fast shrinking. So what does that portend? Americans would put all the so-called achievements and self-glorification stuff by Donald Trump on the ballot. If he's well-deserving, they would give him more encouragement to continue with the way it's been going. But if they are dissatisfied, you can be sure that Americans would contain him. That is why this system is what it is. Very strong institutions that can rein people in. You win some, you lose some. But so far, by way of a popular assessment, it looks like Donald Trump is holding the losing end of the stick right there. That is one lesson for the government in Nigeria as well. Remember, you do not do well. People don't need to be jumping from one party into the one that they call the center. That is really strange to me. You maintain your lane and put that to the test, but Nigerians are not willing to do that because the name of the game in Nigeria is greed and avarice. It's greed and avarice. If we don't belong to the government in the center, we are not going to get enough. And the government there to weaponize it that, so long you people are for us, things will come to you. How much does Nigeria really have? It's almost like a struggling man bringing King Sunny Ade to town or Wasiu Ayinde to town. Is he not going to pauperize himself? How much does Nigeria have that they have to now induce and play the game of rewarding everybody that kisses up to the ruling government there? Instead of just maintaining statutorily, you will still get what you will get by way of budgetary allocation. Whatever comes to your state will still come. You don't need to jump boat. That is one good thing about the American system. Everybody is digging in. The so-called redistricting stuff in the state of Texas and the invasion of the street of Minnesota with the high street, that is now dealing serious backlash on Donald Trump. And then one more thing, this initiative to bring, to build some landmark, maybe some 250 foot monument that would dwarf the what's it called, the Capitol and what have you. This kind of funny obsession with big stuff. America is big already. You can only do little as you are led by the electorate and God. You cannot just make it your life dream to just be obsessed with with
yourself.
Bigger, the better. Yeah, it cannot just be about yourself. It's what will serve the interest of the nation. This is it. This is it.
All right. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to know your thoughts and your opinion about this. Thank you. And also help us share the videos to your friends, family, your WhatsApp groups, all of that. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about the Rivers State by-election countdown. Impeachment notices, court battles, and a February 21st date with destiny. Rivers State is back on the brink. The battle for Rivers State has moved from the courtrooms to the ballot box. INEC has officially released the timetable for the February 21st by-elections in Ahoada East 2 and Kano 2, with the Wike-aligned camp already securing the APC tickets. This comes as the Rivers House of Assembly has intensified its impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara and Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu, alleging gross misconduct and budgetary failures. Despite Fubara's recent defection to the APC, his survival remains uncertain as his opponents claim he has failed to honor the peace agreements brokered in Abuja. So, you know the weight of signed agreements. Of course, what I'm wondering here is if Fubara if he's being insincere, because, sometimes I hear people almost like painting him as a victim. But of course, the critics are also claiming that he's not being sincere. Or are we still talking about the impact of, is he still being haunted by the Godfather who won't let go? I wanna hear, I wanna get some more clarity on that.
Number one, he's still being haunted by a Godfather that does not know his place. That it can only be for a season. That is, if you are going to look at the religious background to the use of the term Godfather, you are only entrusted by way of trust by the church. Oh, you going to mentor this child until he becomes an adult in the faith, and then he gets confirmed as a grown-up, that is having the baptism of Holy Spirit now, as somebody who is no longer sucking on milk, but is now feeding on meat and bone as a grown-up. But that is the way it should go, by way of church, the original connotation of the word Godfather. But here in Nigeria, it is almost like calling the meeting of jackals, lions, hyena, and tiger, and leopards, all kinds of carnivores, to want to tear people to pieces just in the name of political mentorship. It does not really work like that. So anybody thinking that this is against Simlaye Fubra, it's not on him. And if they succeed at destroying him politically or removing him from office, the shame will be that of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's working so far just because Ahmed Bola Tinubu allows for it. Everybody thinks, oh, it is Wike that is really strong. Wike is nobody without institutional support from the, what's it called? The coercive power of the state, without the use of a coercive force of the state. Who is he to want to say that he will get away with political coup plot brazenly in the open, and there is not reined in, and everybody thinks he's so strong? There's nothing so strong about him. Our other test, the media has a way of hyping things up. The media is as guilty as any other person that has been an enabler for Yesun Wike in this misadventure in power that is openly being displayed before all of us. How can one individual be so self-absorbing, narcissistic, to the point of thinking that he can install and remove a governor at will? So where are the electorates of River State? But money is the name of the game. Everybody has said, oh, maybe 600 billion naira from Simlaye Fubra to get things in his direction. How much does what's his name? Yesun Wike have on his war chest, on his war chest as well? How much does he have? This is a man who will not attend to the business of collective bargaining as the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, that is using all kinds of lawsuits to hunt down genuinely aggrieved, unpaid workers under his leadership in the Federal Capital Territory, not minding that field in Abuja, distracting himself, losing focus on the job, and then challenging the authority of a sitting governor in River State. If it works for him, good luck. But already he has seen the consequence. You were talking of people jumping ship from PDP, decamping everywhere. That is because nobody wants to be under the same roof with this mad cow. That is simply what is going on there. And if he wins at the end of the day, it's just for a moment. In future, Nigerians would have identified him as somebody who is a spoiler. Even I'm sure when they are done using him as the cannon fodder, as the useful idiot that he is for the moment, APC itself will not want to be so proud to identify with him. And if this situation in River State is not properly managed, if on the watch of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president, Yesun Wike is able to really rubbish Governor Simlaye Fubra. It may trigger some internal implosion with APC itself. So it's a game that we must watch carefully. Let us continue to look at them. Wherever it leads, let it just end at some point. But this self-destructive game of making oneself available as a destroyer, as somebody who does not know when to stop, when to take a halt and say, this is just too much. That is of interest to me. And I think not just political scientists in the future, not just historians in the future, also psychologists and psychiatrists should take a special interest in the Wike saga. This is really beyond normal. It is really beyond normal. Wike now must be a subject of close intellectual study, scrutiny, and probably he has reduced himself to a guinea pig for all kinds of educational curiosity. This is the way I look at the situation there. But to now focus on the by-election in Ahoada and all the consolidation, on a normal day, if they really want to show Wike real politics, Fubra is the leader of APC there. And if Wike is working for APC, it's not working against them. Fubra, in the final analysis, for him, it will be the labor for it. But for the leader of that party there, that is the sitting governor, he will be the one that will enjoy the spoil of the entire stress that Wike is putting himself through. And I think that is the way Ashiwaju should look at this. That is, if they think opinion from the diaspora or ordinary Nigerians really matter. This is the way it should play out. That, yes, Wike, you are not even a member of APC. You said that yourself. But you have labored for us. At the end of the day, the spoil of this, your bloodless war, should go to the leader of APC, that is Simlaye Fubara. So, all said and done, it's win-win for both Wike and Simlaye Fubara as the sitting governor. That is de facto leader of APC in Rivers State. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, so I get where you're going there, but it's not so clear to me personally.
I said they should allow Wike to do the struggle to stress himself.
Yeah, but is he really stressing himself?
You said?
Is he really stressing himself?
Yes, he's stressing himself.
Yeah, because it almost seems like he's having it easy for me. That's what from the angle I'm looking at it from, it almost like it looks like other people are lifting the heavyweight for him.
He's just a useful village idiot. Let him stress himself. Let him struggle and get APC elected. At the end of the day, who is the leader of APC in that state? It's Governor Simlaye Fubara. So the spoil of the old stress that Wike is taking himself through will be for Simlaye Fubara and Bala Ahmed Tinubu. Simple. There are ways of letting fools know that they are just being stupid and foolish. Simple. It's a simple thing. Simlaye Fubara should not stress himself, should not slug it out with him. When the candidates of APC, supposed stooges of former governor Jesse Wike, when they win, where are they bringing the victory? It's for APC. And who is the leader of APC? Simlaye Fubara. And Jesse Wike is not even a member of APC. So this is the way I look at it. Yeah, common sense right there.
What's the general sentiment of the people of Rivers State?
They just think that Yesim has become that element that is troubling the house of Israel. That he is the one that is stoking trouble all the time. That is the general sentiment. But this question of weaponization of poverty, it's almost like, I remember one Akure famous politician in those days. He would say, he has the panacea for people. He would have disappeared after at the end of any election, he will not show up. He said, "Oh, I know what would always hypnotize Akure people," and then will now be shaking. What do you call it? Grains of corn, of maize in
his palm.
jar.
Okay, in a jar.
In a bottle or in a jar.
Okay.
So that you pour it on the floor for
food.
Chicken. You know, it's almost like just treating people with disrespect.
Like undignified food.
No respect for no respect for the dignity of their person. This is it called Stockholm syndrome? You know?
So that's all they need.
They will pick it. That is why Wike is doing this. And it's getting
that's how, I mean, to me, it sounds like the average Nigerian politician, but you know,
the lesson of history also teaches us that can be counterproductive and can be deadly, can be very counterproductive.
Of course. I mean, that's what has left Nigeria where it is now.
Not just where Nigeria. Do you know the number of people who lost their lives in such circumstances during the First Republic that eventually led to the failure of the system and ultimately a very costly civil war in terms of lives and resources to the country? It also led to the destruction of the Second Republic in Nigeria. Part of what also destroyed the Babangida experiment with the transition to civil democratic rule. The greed of certain politicians like Abimbola Davis and all kinds of people that were ready to offer their own mother for sale in the market, all for pittance. This is why the game that Wike is playing is dangerous. If people do not see this, and they can be so excited about arraigning some so-called 16 misguided coup plotters, and they cannot even see Wike as a political coupist, as he's going, then that in itself is of serious food for thought. But we'll talk more about
we'll talk more.
In the context of the interview granted on Sunday by Nigeria's Minister of Defense concerning the individuals that were suspected of a coup plot against President Bala Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so that you're notified when we go live. We'll be right back. All right, and now we move into our final segment. We had the hard news. Now let's get a sharper edge on the conversation. Joining us for our dialogue is the man himself, our publisher, editor-in-chief, and high chief, Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you so much, Ola.
So a couple of things. I know you have maybe one or two things you want to speak about, but this is what's trendy around Nigeria right now. Of course, the Grammys. Where they have been celebrating
the Lifetime Achievement Award for late
fella
Afrobeat maestro Olufela Olusegun Oludotun Kuti, otherwise known as Anikulapo Kuti.
Yes, Abamieda. Yes.
Saint Bean himself.
Yeah. So
even in death, even in the grave, he's still a strange person, and he continues to score first all the way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that is trending in Nigeria right now. Of course, Tyler is trending in Nigeria. Tyler is a South African young girl who also bagged another Grammy. And unfortunately, Davido did not bag a Grammy, according to reports. And either way, Nigerians are saying, congratulations, Davido. 30 BG has been trending for that very same reason. Davido just can't get a break. I don't know, But also, what is trendy is Epstein. The Epstein file. I guess there's some more leaks coming out of the Epstein's
Yes,
files.
I mean, a huge 3 million page dump again, and I mean, exposing all kinds of people of influence and authority of, I mean, immense wealth all over the world has been connected to that disgraceful sex trafficking situation.
Right,
And
right.
yes, but
So real quick,
Tinubu,
real quick before you go into that, we also have Trevor Noah is also trending. Because I
yeah,
think there's a
the
threat
threat
coming
of
from the
being sued,
president.
right?
So those are some of the things, a couple of things out there. But I mean, let's just say Afrobeat is being celebrated in spite of the disappointment around Davido's not picking up a Grammy. He's still a multiple times nominee. So congratulations to Davido. But I
Mm.
wanted to get your thoughts on that, and then we can round up maybe in about 5 to 7 minutes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's make it a very quick one. There is no way anybody would want to, um, I mean, mention the fella Anikulapo Kuti phenomenon without really remembering the uh, imperishable contributions of his line of ancestors to the development of Nigeria. Are you going to talk of his grandfather, the late Reverend J.J. Ransom Kuti, well-known musicologist and translator of ancient and modern hymns for the Anglican Church, and then even composing so-called Orin Ni Ohun Ati Ede-Ilewa for the Anglican Church. You know, when you are singing Igbo Oluba ránṣẹ́ o, Igbo Oluba ránṣẹ́ o, gbogbo ayé àgbà Jésù gbọ́ o, Igbo Oluba ránṣẹ́ o. I mean, very impressive contributions of the Kuti family to Nigeria's development, not just in terms of culture and music and festivals. You know, I mean, you have heard of so many folk songs. I mean, the time that we have will not allow me the opportunity of singing for you some of the songs that were made popular by Reverend J.J. Ransom Kuti, the grandfather of Olufela Kuti. Or like he dropped the name Ransom Kuti and embraced Anikulapo Kuti. And then his father, Reverend Israel Oludotu Kuti, or Ransom Kuti, who was the famous Nigerian educator and school principal, the founder, the leading founder of Nigerian Union of Teachers. I mean, there's no way you would want to push over the family of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, and you have heard of the antecedents of his mother, a foremost African nationalist and politician who unfortunately also suffered injustices alongside his son, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, in the hands of oppressive Nigerian regimes. But to just think beyond the winning of a lifetime achievement Grammy by this late illustrious son of Africa, because Fela was the one that handed himself the description of the black president or African president through his music. And you see also his children, Sheung, the elder one, Femi, and then so many in that lineage having been nominated as Grammy prospective winners themselves. And then you look at the fact that Davido has not won this year, but that guy has also contributed immensely to the global recognition being given to Afrobeat, an offshoot of Afrobeat from Fela's, what's it called, productive and a creative genius. That is that about the music scene. And then let us also talk of the the Travellers, something, the threat coming against Travellers that President Donald Trump wants to slam him with a massive lawsuit as a result of speeches given uh, given yesterday at the Grammy Awards. Well, you know the game. I mean, whatever he said there would be. He's a comedian, and
I want,
let's
I
not
want,
just.
I want, I want to see it so badly. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you mean what he said?
Whatever I said, yeah.
Yeah, it's just about him. I mean, trying to give himself a recognition because of. I mean, don't let us repeat it before, because you know we don't have the resources available to
Right, right. Let's
Travis
not
Noah.
butcher it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that it doesn't come after us too, because he comes after anybody. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's desperation. But on a serious note, he does that in order to want to bully people, to try to intimidate people into silence. And you can see that several people yesterday were just denouncing his policies at the Grammy Awards, not just Travis Noah, but you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
so convenient to look at this um, South African immigrant who is now an American, and by whatever, um, um, I mean, by Providence, who is of a diverse racial background. So let us intimidate him, just like somebody like Don Lemon is being
Right.
intimidated too as a harmless journalist. And isn't that instructive for some of us practicing journalists all over the world, that this is the new name of the game: intimidate journalists, try to silence them, try to intimidate them, and then they will back off. But when we back off, when we keep quiet like that, when we keep silent like that, what do you think is really going on? Somebody is really profiting, somebody is committing fraud somewhere, somebody is being corrupt somewhere. So
Yeah.
journalists should keep at it. Artists, people of, I mean, who are in the creative world, should always exercise that First Amendment right. Speak up, free speech as well, exercise it. That is that on that note. Now, concerning how all of us must be very careful how we handle things coming through AI generated stuff on social
Right.
media, because somebody is trying to really divide Nigerians on the fact that we, by way of the critical mass, majority of us, we reject anything that would be tantamount to violent overthrow of government in our country. We do not want the military. I mean, pure and simple. What is so difficult about that? Those of us who have been victims, who lived through those years of dictatorship, years of tyranny, under several juntas, military juntas, would not want anything that it's extra judicial, that is extra political, for change of power. We do not want the military, because some people are already saying that the fever from the Sahel. What is in the Sahel? What is so? What did people, the military leadership in Niger, Burkina Faso, and whatever, Mali, what did they do that would recommend itself for Nigerians as a good example? They are the ones that must learn. They just have to take their takanda and gege, their pen and paper, sit down to take some lessons from Nigeria about leadership, not the other way around. So we are not in any way tickled by the idea of saying that, it is because of the gale of wind, touching off on several African countries. Nobody should advertise coup around Nigerians or in Nigeria. And I mean, we must commend the military or whatever, the media as well, for exposing this plot to unseat President Bala Tinubu by way of a military coup. And from what we have now heard from the Minister of Defense in Nigeria, in terms of, namely General Musa Christopher, it was said that a colonel, for that matter, was disgruntled about, was angry that he was not promoted, and that there was a process for promoting people if he flunked that test. So some of us also said before, we did not embrace violence to one of, we only studied harder and then sat down and passed. So these people should not take their personal anger on the system. There are genuine issues bothering Nigerians now, like the size of their pocket, of their purchasing power, and then the political culture, like, political coupists like Yesin Wike, all those people disturbing the system. That calls for more effort to contain it. And then look at the bandits and what have you. So for people to now say, oh, it's because of a personal vendetta, that is why somebody want to stage a coup to unseat a legitimate government, that is not good. That is some bad reason. And thank God, from what Musa Christopher disclosed to the nation through an interview anchored by Mr. Shemo Kimbaloye of Channels Television yesterday, it's discovered that so many people, including the Minister of Defense himself, was going to be arrested and probably neutralized. So who wants that? Nobody wants a dysfunctional system. Finally, we must make deliberate effort to make sure that the culture of violence in northwest Nigeria does not envelop the entire nation. Otherwise, are they telling me that the military formation, the military post in Ondo State, a whole artillery brigade there, maybe it's even been elevated to a mechanized division, we do not know. But with all that, some idiots, some bandits, kidnappers, they took over the entire road from Airport Junction in Akure this past week to Ayede-ogbese, kidnapping people and shooting at people, and and this operation went on causing huge traffic gridlock on the major highway there, and the response was really shameful and disgraceful. We must be able to project to the entire world that our system is working. Look at a young American missionary coming to Nigeria to help rebuild Yewata. Just single individual with the support of the system in the United States, building more than 35 houses for people of Yewata in Benue State. At the end of the day, the government is not standing up to give guarantee about the security of the system. We can do better. Nigerians, rise up and nudge your government to take action so that the country does not fail. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that fantastic report. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Please help us. Share, like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, follow everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube right here. And we're doing the Lord's work. Help us spread the word. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. Take care.